Welcome to This is Economics at Home. This is our agenda for today. First, we'll be doing a quick introduction and covering basic economics concepts. Then Alex will be covering economic decision making, understanding household expenses, impact of inflation, and then finally we'll be going over some budgeting tips for teens and culture and economics. I'm Emily. I'm the president of Youth STEM for Humanity Coalition. I'm a freshman at Brown.
My name is Alex. I'm the Assistant Director of Economics for Humanities Circle, and I'm a junior from Diamondback High.
My name is Zulkar, and I'm the Assistant Director, Engineering for Humanities Circle. I'm a freshman at Ayala High School.
We're Youth STEM for Humanity Coalition, and we're a global student organization dedicated to bridging STEM and society and cultivating creativity and compassion in future leaders. And if you guys are interested, you can visit our website, youthstemforhumanity.org, or email us for any questions. Okay, so first, let's go over some basic economics concepts. Scarcity is a concept that no matter who they are or where they are, people's wants and needs are always greater than the resources that are available to meet their wants and needs. And scarcity exists because our unlimited wants are greater than our limited resources. We can't have enough resources to fulfill all of those unlimited wants. And then for factors of production, they're land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. So land is like physical land, labor, work to get something, and then capital is like any assets, and entrepreneurship is, for example, starting a business. Okay, next is the concept of demand. So demand focuses on the consumer themselves, and it's the consumer's willingness and ability to buy a good or service at the various prices that exist in a market. So what's important about demand is that not only do they have this want to buy this good, they also need to be able to pay for that good. So both willingness and ability to buy the service. Demand expresses an inverse relationship between quantity demanded and price, and other things are equal. So here in this graph, you can see how as the price decreases, the demand increases. So there's an inverse relationship between those two variables. Okay, now for the law of demand, consumers tend to buy higher quantities at lower price than they do at higher price. So basically, as consumers, we always want to buy cheaper things at a larger quantity. And this is affected by three things: income effect, substitution effect, and the law of diminishing marginal utility. For the income effect, it deals with two types of goods. One is normal goods. So for normal goods, as income increases, the demand increases. So this would be things like luxury items. As your income increases, you want to buy more of those luxury items. And then inferior goods would be as income increases, the demand actually decreases as the consumers switch to higher quality substitutes. So, for example, inferior goods would include things like instant ramen, where as your income increases, you would buy less of the instant ramen and then opt for more healthy noodles or something. And the substitution effect is when the price of a good falls, it becomes more attractive. Compared to substitute, consumers buy more of it. And then when the price rises, consumers would shift toward cheaper substitutes. And then finally, diminishing marginal utility is as a person consumes more of a good, the additional satisfaction, called utility, they gain from each extra unit would decrease. Yeah, basically, if you take the first bite of a pizza, your marginal satisfaction is much greater than after you eat most of the pizza. So there's a diminishing marginal utility. And next is supply, which focuses on the supplier, basically the producer. So supply is the producer's willingness and ability to sell a good or service at the various price that exists in the market. And there's a positive relationship between the quantity supplied and the price. So the producer wants to supply a larger amount if they can sell that good for a larger price. Law of supply states that producers want to offer higher quantities for sale at higher price than at lower prices. So they want to basically make more profit. Law of increasing marginal cost is as producers make and sell more, the cost of producing each additional unit would increase. This means that if you have a fixed number of resources, and even if you try to add more inputs, for example, if you have the same number of machines, but you add more labor, like more people to run those machines, you're still not going to be able to produce a larger quantity because your number of machines is limited. So when additional inputs are used in production while at least one factor remains fixed, then the productivity of each additional input eventually decreases. And then there's market equilibrium. So a market is an equilibrium where supply and demand intersect. So in the curve, we have the downward sloping demand curve, upward sloping supply curve. Where they intersect gives us the equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity. So equilibrium is a unique price and quantity combination where the market clears. So there is no surplus or shortage, meaning that the consumers use up all of the goods that the suppliers produce.
All right, so for economic decision making, income versus expenses. Income refers to the amount of money, property, and other transfers of values received over a set of period of time in exchange for services or products. Expenses refer to the cost of operations that a company incurs to generate revenue. In accounting terms, the balance between our income and expenses is often referred to as our cash flow. If we have a positive cash flow, our income is higher than our expenses. In contrast, if we have a negative cash flow, our expenses are higher than our income. And also, costs versus benefit. A benefit is what is gained from a decision. A cost is what is given up or lost after a decision is made. The benefit and cost can be amount of money, or they can be things like how you will feel about a decision. Tips: weigh the cost, such as money, time, or effort, against the benefits, for example, like value or satisfaction, before making decisions. Opportunity cost. So, opportunity cost represents the potential benefits that a business, an investor, or an individual consumer misses out on when choosing one alternative over another. So, for example, like if you there are two choices, A and B. If you choose the product A, the opportunity cost can be product B. And also, opportunity cost refers to the value of next best alternative we give up when making a decision. For example, like investing in a new manufacturing plant in Los Angeles as opposed to Mexico City, deciding to upgrade the company equipment or hire additional workers, or buying stock A or stock B. An at home example: if a family spends money on a vacation, the opportunity cost might be the new laptop they could have bought instead. At home example number two: so spending $20 on a video game means we can't use that $20 for a good book. And types of income. Income refers to the money or resources that an individual, household, or business receives in exchange for their labor, investments, service, or other activities. It is a key factor that determines a person's ability to consume goods and services. Earned income, such as wages, salaries, and tips from employment. Unearned income such as investments, such as dividends, interest, or rental income, include pensions, social security, or inheritance. Passive income earned with minimal effort, such as royalties, rental income, and business ownership profits. Gross income versus net income. So gross income can be total earning before deductions, like taxes or expenses, and net income is everything after those deductions. And understanding household expenses. Definition of household expenses. Household expenses represent the per person breakdown of the general living expenses. Examples such as cost of housing, food, healthcare, transportation, entertainment, or etc. These are all costs that should be included in a household's budget to ensure that all members' needs are met each month. Categories of household expenses. Fixed expenses stay the same each month. Examples such as rent, insurance premiums, and also variable expenses change based on usage or needs. Examples such as utilities, groceries, and transportation. Discretionary expenses such as non-essential spending, for example, dining out, subscriptions, or entertainment. And also, those are two pie charts that compare the household consumptions from in 1990 and 2021. Those two are actually similar. However, we can see some increasing, such as the transportation part, and also tips to save household expenses. Utilities, such as turn off lights and unplug devices when not in use, use energy efficient appliance or adjust thermostatic settings. Groceries, plan meals, make a shopping list, and avoid impulse buys. Compare prices and consider buying in bulk for non-perishables. And also transportation, carpool, use public transit or bike walk when possible. And also maintain vehicles to improve fuel efficiency. The last thing, discretionary spending. Set limits for non-essential expenses like dining out or entertainment, and opt for free or low-cost activities. Emergency funds. An emergency fund is a cash reserve that's specifically set aside for unplanned expenses or financial emergencies. For example, like car repairs, home repairs, medical bills, or a loss of income. Tips: set aside 3 to 6 months worth of expenses for emergencies. Start small, like saving $10 to $20 per week to build the fund over time. Also, the impact of inflation. So the impact of the inflation is the rate of increase in prices over a given period of time. Inflation is typically a broad measure, such as the overall increase in prices or the increase in the cost of living in a country. Inflation leads to a decrease in the purchasing power of money. For example, a loaf of bread that cost $1 last year might cost $1.1 or $1.10 like this year due to inflation. Impact of inflation, types of inflation, demand pull inflation occurs when demand for goods service exceeds supply, causing price to rise. Cost push inflation happens when production costs increase, causing business to raise prices. Rising oil prices increase transportation costs, making goods more expensive. The most commonly used inflation index are the Consumer Price Index, the CPI, and the Wholesale Price Index, which is the WPI. How inflation affects household budgets. Increased cost of living. Essentials like food, housing, and transportation become more expensive. For example, if groceries used to cost $300 per month, now cost $330 due to 10% inflation. Families must adjust spending elsewhere. Reduced purchasing power as same amount of money buys fewer goods and service, so the people will less likely to purchase due to the high price. And impact on savings. Saving lose values if interest rates are lower than inflation rates. For example, like a saving account earning 2% interest loses purchasing power if inflation is 5%.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about budgeting for teens. So first, we're gonna talk about needs and wants. Needs is something like anything required for human survival, like food, water, shelter, basic human needs. And wants is anything people would like to have or desire, like a bicycle, a cell phone, a gadget, luxury brands. And some tips for budgeting is prioritize needs over wants, especially when resources are tight. And we're talking about impulsive emotional purchase. Impulsive spending in response to strong emotions such as stress, sadness, or momentary happiness can generate an unnecessary and wasteful outflow of money. And social pressure, spending money to meet social expectation or to impress others can generate unnecessary. And the tip are make a shopping list or use a 24-hour rule before buying non-essential items. And now we're talking about different culture and economics. For the Western culture, it's mostly about individualism and consumerism. The key values of individualism is that emphasis on personal goals and self-reliance. And for consumerism, is spending often reflects personal identity and social status. And spending habits are higher focused on individual purchases, such as entertainment, gadgets, or self-improvement. Celebration like Christmas involves significant spending on gifts and decoration. Saving and investing. Retirement saving through individual accounts such as 40i, which is K's in the US. Now I'll talk about Muslim culture. There's multiple ethical finance and community welfare. Key values are fairness and justice. Financial dealing must be equitable and avoid exploitation. Community welfare, prioritizing the well-being of community and providing for those in need. Faith-based financial practices. Financial behavior is guided by Islamic principle derived from the Quran and Hadith. Spending habits. Charitable giving. Zakat is an obligatory almsgiving. 2.5% of saving annually to support the less fortunate. Sadaqah is a voluntary charity given to those in need, often beyond zakat requirement, and celebration and community. Saving and investment, ethical investment. And now is Jewish culture, which is about community and education. Key values for education is a strong emphasis on investing in knowledge and skill building. Community support, a tradition of helping others through charitable givings. Spending habits, spending on religious rituals and celebrations, which can involve significant family investment. High regards for kosher food products, often leading to specialized spending. Saving and investing, long-term financial planning is emphasized, including setting aside funds for children's education or starting businesses. Collective financial support through community organization or fund. And last, we talk about Asian culture, collectivism, and long-term planning. Key value for collectivism is that family and community welfare prioritize over individual desires. Frugality, saving for future needs, or avoiding unnecessary expenses are highly valued. Spending habits, significant spending during festivals like Lunar New Year, where red packets are given for good fortune. Family-oriented expenses such as children's education, wedding, and elderly care. Saving and investing, property ownership is a common investment goal, symbolizing stability and success.
And that's all for our webinar today on economics at home. If you guys are interested in more information, you can visit our website, or email us to get involved. And yeah, that's all for today. And our next webinar will probably be next month, and it's going to be about some chemistry things you can do at home. Thank you guys, and see you next time.